Земля семи рек.
The land of seven rivers. This region of Kazakhstan is rich in natural beauty and has a centuries-old history. The ancient culture of the people is reflected here in numerous archaeological monuments. In the Middle Ages, there was a center of agriculture and trade. Hello, this is the Terra Inkognita project. My name is Anton Fedorov, and I came to the Almaty region. Almaty region is located in the southeast of Kazakhstan and expands in an area of more than 220,000 square kilometers. By area, this region is slightly inferior to the whole of Great Britain. The natural beauty of this land is amazing. At any time of the year, this land is beautiful in its own way. If you're lucky enough to visit the Almaty region in spring, you will be able to see how its endless steppe is covered with the colorful carpets of poppies and other wild flowers. The people call the Almaty region as Zhetisu, which means in Kazakh the seven rivers. This region received its name in the middle of the 19th century because seven rivers flow through its territory. They fill it with life and decorate with amazing natural landscapes. Ever since the ancient times, this area was ideal for settlement. The Saka tribes, who lived here in 4th, 3rd centuries BC, founded their settlements, which have survived to our days. The Almaty region is an ideal place to travel. In just a few days, you can visit all the climatic zones, from deserts to permanent snows. I will tell you about the miraculous nature of this land a bit later, but for now, a story about how this region lives today and what it can show tourists. The administrative center of the Almaty region is the city of Taldykorgan. It is located in a picturesque place at the foot of the northern slopes of the Jungarian Alatau Mountains and on the bank of the Karatal River. By Kazakhstan standards, this locality is considered as small. Just over 400,000 people live here. However, Taldykorgan can rightfully be considered one of the greenest cities in Kazakhstan. From the Kazakh language, Taldykorgan translates as Willow Mound. The history of the city begins from the middle of the 19th century. The exiled Cossacks were sent to these lands, who founded the settlement here. Fertile soil and beautiful natural conditions allowed to develop the agriculture, and the settlement began to grow more and more every year. Quiet, calm, and very comfortable city. The first thing that catches the eye in Taldykorgan is the amount of greenery. There are a lot of parks in the city, and there are about 15 trees for each inhabitant. Not all cities of Kazakhstan can boast such statistics. Taldykorgan received the status of the administrative center of the Almaty region in 2001. The city is very similar to small European cities. Clean streets, beautiful parks, abundant vegetation, a caring attitude to their land is felt here. In recent years, Taldykorgan has changed greatly. New micro-districts with modern residential complexes, cultural and sports facilities of the highest class appeared in the city. There is one object in Taldykorgan of which the city residents are especially proud. It's the Jastar Palace of Sports. It was opened in 2010 and today is a modern multifunctional sports complex. If taken as a percentage, this palace can receive the same number of spectators as, for example, the Dynamo Palace in the capital of Russia, Moscow. The Almaty region is rich not only in nature. This region has brought up more than one generation of great athletes who have won prizes in various sports at the most prestigious world championships. the preparatory basis where future Olympians can train work all year round in the region. In general, the development of sports in Kazakhstan is approached very rationally and responsibly. The country has developed a whole strategy to involve the population in a healthy lifestyle. And this responsibility is to create conditions for the education of future champions. The Jastar Palace of Sports in Taldy Korgan is the obvious evidence of the successful implementation of the adopted programs. Here it is, the main pride of the Jastar Sports Palace. The uniqueness of the site is that competitions can take place here in both play and strength sports. Tomorrow, the international championship in freestyle wrestling starts here. There can be competitions in volleyball, basketball, futsal, and by the Taldy Korgan standards, this hall is quite capacious. 1,600 spectators simultaneously can come here to watch the competitions. Looking at such large-scale sports facilities, I recall my childhood, which took place in the 90s, the most difficult time in the history of independent Kazakhstan. Then, nobody thought about the development of sports in the country. It was necessary to save the economy, rebuild enterprises, repair the utility sector, because people did not have heating in their homes. In general, the country had lots of problems. There were only parallel bars and a horizontal bar in my yard for sports entertainment. Only 26 years have passed, and now the younger generation of Kazakhstan do not even know about these difficulties. The total area of Jastar Palace is 22,750 square meters. There are 2 floors, and the whole territory on which the palace is located occupies an area of 8 hectares. We have not only young people but also residents and visitors of all ages involved in sports. Every day about 1,500 people come here. Malik Aytkulov himself is a former athlete. He was engaged in boxing in his youth. He recalls that at that time the whole city was 1 or 2 sections where it was very difficult to get. Basically, the youth worked in the basement, where the guys themselves have equipped their gyms. Today, the situation has changed radically, and young people have every opportunity to have a healthy lifestyle or be engaged in sports professionally. This is what we can be proud of. We have a lot of people involved in judo because our coach Aydin Smagulov once became the bronze medalist of the Olympic Games. Nurbakit Tenizbayev won a silver medal at the Wrestling Olympiad. They are both our countrymen residents of Almaty region. The fact that they teach here in judo and the Greco-Roman wrestling is the reason for the mass interest of these martial arts among young people. Many people walk in tracksuits in our country, if you noticed. This is a youth trend because today it's prestigious to play sports. Even in many foreign countries, you can also see a lot of young guys dressed in tracksuits who play sports in the streets. I met one of the most famous athletes of Kazakhstan in the Jastar Palace of Sports, Maulen Mamyrov, a famous Kazakh freestyle wrestler, the winner of many competitions of the highest level, the bronze medalist of the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. The name of this person is inextricably linked with the history of wrestling in Kazakhstan. Maulen Mamyrov had a unique wrestling technique, due to which he reached great success in sports. Today he shares his experience with young athletes and passes on his knowledge to them. Almost all sports are based here. All our athletes of the Almaty region mainly train here. Sometimes the national team of Kazakhstan comes. It is very accessible. The palace is located in a convenient area. The new neighborhoods are being built around. A lot of children come here to study. Everything's free. Everything's available. So there's a very big benefit from this sports palace.
Поэтому очень большая польза от этого дворца спорта.
Indeed, the Jastar Palace of Sports is not only an architectural ornament of Taldykorgan, but it also reflects modern priorities in the life of the country and in its mission. Independent Kazakhstan sets itself the most ambitious goals and objectives, and most importantly, reaches them like a champion who had a very long journey to his gold medal. All that is lacking is only to wish good luck to future athletes and new highest victories. Well, I continue my acquaintance with Taldykorgan. While studying various sources about this city, I came across a curious article. It was about a man who created a real museum in his house. And of course, I was wondering what kind of exhibits this person collects. I'm going to visit him, more precisely, on an excursion to his museum. What I saw on the spot just struck me. Indeed, pensioner Marat Kasanov collected unique antiquities in the basement of a small private house. Some exhibits came to him in a broken state, but a collector gives them a second life with his own hands.
Профессия моя механик сложно-бытовой техники.
My profession is a mechanic of a complex household appliances. Being in this profession, I find all these records, radio stations, gramophones, cameras. I do them myself. I give them a second life to work all the time.
Даю, чтобы они работали все время.
Этот патефон 30-40-х годов.
This gramophone is from 30 to 40s. Then there was no electricity in many places, and people used these phonographs. These records, too, somewhere 40 to 50 years. This one here is the beginning of the war, probably.
Вот это вот начало войны, наверное.
All objects of the improvised museum for Marat Kasanov are real treasures. He collected them throughout the former Soviet Union. The man gave 60 years of his life to his beloved work. During the study of the history of their exhibits and artifacts, the collector became a real expert on ancient finds.
Я начал собирать значки, марки, вот. Потом перешел на копейки, деньги. Вот. Сейчас около 3000 у меня монет.
I started collecting badges, stamps. Then I switched to coins, money. Now I have about 3,000 coins. There are many unique things. See here, coins. This is Constantine I, Constantine II. This is from 327 to 370, the Roman Empire before its conquest by the Ottoman Empire. These coins are from there. Here you are, a portrait of Constantine. From the back, he's on a horse. How do I find these things? I'm interested in their past and where they come from. I find these things in the internet, where and when they were released, who used them and how.
В прошлом и откуда они взялись. И по интернету нахожу вот эти вещи, где и когда они были выпущены, кем они и как пользовались.
Вот у вас есть еще, я так обратил внимание, монета Адольфа Гитлера. Можете ее историю рассказать?
Ну, Адольфа Гитлера, это я случайно.
Here you have more. I noticed the coin of Adolf Hitler. Can you tell its story? I bought the Adolf Hitler's coin by accident. It was sold at the flea market. a man has been selling it, and I accidentally bought this coin. The collections of Murat Kasanov can be envied by many museums. Therefore, a man often gives them his exhibits for display and completely free of charge. Antiquity is closely intertwined with modernity in this home exhibit. Here you can see the stone grater and the first computer. The doors of the man-made museum of Murat Kasanov are always open to visitors, and the collector himself is always happy to tell any guest about the history that is kept by his amazing exhibits. While I continue my journey through the Almaty region and leaving to one of the most picturesque places in the region. There are several national natural parks in the territory of the Almaty region. They were created in the mid-90s of the last century to preserve the unique natural complexes, architectural monuments, and endangered species of animals and plants. We will go with you to one of these parks. I came to the Altyn Yemel National Nature Park, which is considered to be the pearl of the Almaty region. This place is visited by tourists from all over the world year-round, and there is something to look at. The name Altyn Yemel has Mongolian roots, and in transition it sounds like a golden saddle. Legend says that the summer of 1219, the troops of Genghis Khan moved through this valley to conquer the Central Asia. Seeing the mountains covered with yellow grass at sunset, the great commander exclaimed, "Golden saddle!" If you look closely, the Altyn Yemel Pass really looks very much like a saddle. There are various types of landscape concentrated on the territory of the national park, from areas of sandy deserts to desert mountains. But our journey through this park was not without losses. While trying to show you all the extremes of our route from different angles, we lost one member of our film crew. The GoPro camera detached from the car's bumper during the shooting and which unfortunately broke. Goodbye, dear friend. You served us in good faith, and your shots that you took during our trip will be seen by the viewers. Having checked the rest of the equipment, we went on to tell you the story of this place. Here it is, one of the historical evidences of the stone steles of Oshaktas that existed here in the ancient time of life. It is glaringly obvious that this is a man's creation. How these steles have appeared here is not known for sure, but there is a legend that once Genghis Khan stayed with his army in this part of the world. But here they put a huge cauldron to prepare food for the soldiers. There's another legend which says that the ancient people made a fire at this place to give a smoke signal and the approach of the enemy. The flora of the Altyn Yemel National Park comprises 1,500 species of various plants, 22 of which are listed in the Red Book. Most of the plants in the park have useful properties. Many of them serve as food for wild animals. The seeds and fruits are eaten by birds and rodents, and the leaves of plants by gazelles, roe deer, and mountain goats. The nature of the Altyn Yemel National Park is truly unique. This area has not yet been fully explored, but some discoveries literally amaze scientists. For example, it was established that 15 million years ago there was a gigantic sea here, and tourists still find remains of dinosaurs or ancient mammals here. I came to one of the most mysterious sites of the Altyn Yemel Park. The Singing Dune is a sand dune with a height of about 100 meters and a length of 3 kilometers. The legend says that the great Genghis Khan and his loyal warriors are buried under the sands of the sand dune, and the sand sings when the soul of the Khan is exhausted from torment, tells his descendants about his exploits. I'm going to climb the sand dune to enjoy the beautiful view. As it turned out, it's not that easy. The sand literally absorbs my feet, which makes it harder to do each subsequent step. In addition, the strong wind rose and the sand literally blocked my view, but I will definitely reach the top.
Минут восхождения, и я на вершине этого песчаного великана. История Бархана...
30 minutes of climbing and I'm on top of the sand giant. The history of the dune relates to the wind. The winds are very strong here. Several centuries they blew from the west and east, bringing large masses of sand. As a result of the airflow collision, sand settled on the ground. So for several centuries this natural miracle appeared here. This sand dune is very popular among tourists, and here's why. There is a legend that in the dry weather it makes a noise that resembles the melody of an organ. That is why the dune is called the Singing. But before my arrival it rained here, so I could not listen to the sound made by this sand giant. And yet, at the end of my ascent, a prize awaited me, a stunning view from the ridge of the dune to the Ili Valley in the south, the blue lilac ridges of the Jungarian Almaty in the north, and the mountains in the west and east. If you ever come to the Altyn Yemel National Park, be sure to visit this place. It will definitely delight you. And I'm going to visit another place which is not inferior to the pyramids of the Egyptian pharaohs by its historical significance. I came to a place called Beshatir. This is a unique archaeological site also called the Royal Burial Mounds. The Saka leaders' burial were built here from the 7th to the 3rd century BC. The Beshatir burial ground is one of the ethno-cultural and sacral centers of the Saka tribes who lived here in the Iron Age. These mounds give the most vivid impression of the ancient culture and architecture in Kazakhstan. The largest mound has a diameter of 104 meters and reaches 17 meters in height. Surrounded by a special shaft, it is considered to be an architectural masterpiece. Scientists assume that this whole territory is a ritual site of the necropolis. The mounds located here are divided into large, medium, and small ones. Representatives of nobles and military leaders are buried in large ones. Famous warriors rest in medium kurgans, and ordinary citizens and servants of the great Saki kings are buried in small ones. Beshatar kurgans are distinguished by the complexity of architectural structures. Each of them, in addition to the mound itself, consists of stone pillars, walls, and calculations, and also has an underground message in the form of passages. This memorial complex for centuries existed and functioned as a sacred space, embodying all the greatness and wealth of Saka culture. When exploring this place, archaeologists were amazed that the construction of each mound was thought out beforehand, which indicates the unique knowledge of the Saka in engineering and design. The layering of mounds served to create a microclimate inside the mounds, which allowed these monuments to survive to this day.
The
very location of the Beshatar kurgan indicates the significance of these tombs. On one side, there is a beautiful view of the Ili River. On the other side, this place is protected by the Chulaktau mountain range. Perhaps the ancient Saka thus gave the last honors to the representatives of their tribal noble people. The Saka steppe culture and civilization is an integral part of the modern culture of the Kazakh people. The artifacts found in the territory of the Beshatar kurgan are very rich in information about the worldview of the ancient Saka, their understanding of the world, space, and social structure.
This
place is very similar to the modern courtroom. If you use your imagination, you can see that, for example, here on a hill, the chairman of the court could sit. Opposite him, on that small stone, could be the accused. To the left of the judge, the defense. To the right, the defendant. These two places could have been reserved for jurors. Behind the accused, there could be his relatives and friends. Who knows, maybe in the first millennium BC, the foundations of the judicial system were laid down here, and important, fateful decisions were made in people's lives. Beshatil burial ground gave historians, religious scholars, archaeologists, and other scientists the invaluable information about life of ancient civilizations on this land. Thanks to research, the current generation of Kazakhstan people can know the history of their country. Starting from the most ancient times, it is important to realize their cultural and spiritual identity, but for each person, so as not to get lost today in such a rapidly changing world. My journey through the Almaty region is coming to an end. It turned out to be truly unforgettable. This region is striking in its natural beauty and, of course, surprises with ancient riddles and secrets that we still have to solve. It was another episode of the Terra Inkognita project. My name is Anton Fedorov. See you next time.